All right, looks like my recording's going. And thank you guys very much. Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry for the week, the day of May 15th. I am Chad Parento. Our feature tonight is CC Arshagra, anyone who's been coming to Stone Soup online with any regularity is going to be familiar with, and someone, of course, who's been going to Stone Soup for the last couple of decades is definitely going to be familiar with. CC performed for Stone Soup. I think it was I'm trying to remember which anniversary was it. I think it might have been the 40th. And he has been performing and certainly he's been performing throughout ever since as well, both in person and online. And hopefully we'll make it an in-person show again someday. So I'm looking forward to that. And thanks to everyone for joining us. If you haven't joined us, if this is your first time joining us, we are Stone Soup Poetry, and we do this every Wednesday night, feature or no feature for the near future from 7 to 9. We have 4 features this month. We were so thrilled to have Mark Lipman, who's here with us tonight, feature last week. Tonight is CC. Next week is going to be Elizabeth Duran, one of the former champions of the Grolier Poetry Bookshop in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She featured numerous times when the Out of the Blue was still at the 106 Prospect Street location. And she hasn't featured for a while, and I'm so thrilled to get her back. I was always trying to get her back for May or for September, the month of Jack Power's birthday. And something always got in the way, but no longer. And the final week on May 29th, we're going to have Valerie Loveland, who is a past Stone Soup open micer, a past Boston Cambridge resident, and currently a New Jersey resident. She is going to be featuring her brand new book, which is based on the Unsolved Mysteries television series that is originally narrated by Robert Stack. I'm going to picture her poems being narrated by Robert Stack. If AI didn't disgust me, I'd say we try and AI Robert Stack into reciting some poems, but it's better to hear them from Valerie, the author. And hopefully we'll have more announcements coming up for the month of June. I'm excited for some of the people who I've had slated and have already asked to feature for the summer months of Stone Soup. There'll probably be fewer features, at least in July and August, especially since I'll be at least away from from my desk and away from being able to host for at least 1 week in August and 1 week in July. But those announcements are still a ways from now. Thank you guys for coming. Check out the link to Stone's Throw, which is the zine that was inspired by Stone Soup. We released issue 7 for first release, first time in 8 years. The theme is Aim for the Thoughts and Prayers, a mass shooting themed zine that is still unfortunately timely 8 years later. I'll send you the link and you can download it from my page. But more importantly, it's time for the open mic. So I'm going to introduce our first open micer as selected by the Ramdonator 5000. He missed last week, unfortunately, but we're getting him back now. Let's welcome up Mr. Richard Spizak.
Thank you, my friends. These 2 quick poems are in honor of those of us who've spent many an hour standing on a campus protesting, standing on a street corner, trying to call upon the conscience of our brothers and sisters. This first one is called Code Pink. Think peace, Code Pink, with a wink, but think peace, Code Pink. Don't let them blink, because when they push you aside to have war as their bride, so their tanks can have clear, unimpeded innocence defeated, oh, the bumpy war ride. Code Pink, bumps in the road as they drive for more wars, yet sometimes they're loud and their impact profound. Code Pink, they speak for peace out loud. Have they obstructed hearings? Yes, they have, dear things. Interrupted speeches of all the war toy boys. And oh, there are so many well-paid leeches stacked high like bombs in the bleachers. They inject without any respect with their clarion call for peace. They obstruct and preach the hot thought opposing and disposing, disclosing the bloody ties to the wretched bloody war guys. And all those who ignore the horrors of war strewn across the shore, they would stifle the least cries for the peace prize, and would object and place round the peacemaker's neck the most loathsome of terms, in claiming they traitorize when they mischaracterize these least plaintive calls for peace. And when they claim Code Pink's to blame for rude disruption and civic concussion, I here must say, have you ever heard how loud the outlaw crowd sounds when they bomb and destroy a school? Fool! Thank you. And now this one, this is in solidarity with all our brothers and sisters who are protesting in streets on campuses across the globe, in solidarity with the Colombian student protesters. Not in our name to blame, flaming, obscure the name. Here in Austin on the campus, cops on horseback harass us. And what's the cost? Here in New York at the inflation encampment, anti-Vietnam protest, anti-Contra protest, anti-apartheid protest, anti-genocide. Isn't it time? Here in Gaza or there on the plaza, here in Rafah or ever after, here in the peace camps with damp rags and peace flags, in the Boston Gaza rally where protesters gathered to defend humanity. Massive arrests were made to delay justice. And hey, anti-Semitism isn't divestment. It's not hate. This is a cry. Anti-Semitism is not a peace camp. Teach-ins are not bloody. They will not harm you, buddy. They don't hate. They will wait and call for justice to raise it amongst us. Anti-Semitism is not opposing genocide. They claim this only to obscure and to hide. In peace camps, Jewish peace activists are not anti-Semitic. Don't be frenetic or apoplectic. In peace camps, Arab peace activists are not anti-Semitic. Opposing Zionist apartheid is not anti-Semitic. Opposing genocide in Palestine is not anti-Semitic. Remember the innocents, all of the innocents. Thank you, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you, Richard. We are spoiled for selections tonight. I think I recognize everyone here, and I was actually even telling myself a few moments ago on my upper, or what was on my upper left-hand corner. Is that past feature from 2023, Paul Skiff in the audience? Very awesome. But let us move on to our other people tonight. Let's go bring up next Miss Jackie Chow.
Unmute. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and read a poem that was published by Four Feathers Press today. Historic Landmarks. And my poem is called The Trojan Shrine at USC. I walk daily on my way to classes, past the bronze warrior whose chest glowed in the sun, helmet, shield, and sword pointed upward. I was neither too smart nor too ugly, not superior to anyone in my aloneness, with my downcast eyes. There was no glory in the fact that our lives never intersected, even in the center of campus, where crowds gathered with spirit and pride. Okay, that's one. And I'm gonna read another poem. I try to read new poems, not poems that have been published. So I'm gonna read a newer poem. It's called The Unloved Poem. I tried to write a poem of love, but I just shut the door against somebody's face, to have the elevator to myself, like a pigeon hogging bread. I tried to weave words of caring, but I just hid the gelato from my roommates, then relished its swirls of caramel when nobody was watching. I'm a stage actress, secretly wishing my nemesis would break a leg so I could play the lead. I'm the heart, untroubled, benefiting, pretending to mourn the plight of others. Thank you.
Very, very nice. I think we're gonna get a lot more poems like this as the weeks progress. we're going, and there probably will be a stone's throw issue reflecting that as well. The next theme for a stone's throw is going to be, I usually title the theme, and this one's going to be called Unalive the Algorithm. And that might be too much of a TikTok centric poem or just an online social media form, but you see the phrase unalived used a lot because the algorithm, if you're talking about children being killed or actual crimes, or just talking about what governments do, if you don't use a certain language, it is going to be swept up and ultimately ignored and pushed aside. I definitely want to talk about that and write about that, and I hope other people are interested in that as well. Up next on our stacked open mic, I'm going to welcome up friend DeCece and past open mic participant Kathleen Hulser.
Oh, there, I got it. I got it. Okay, well, I'm glad to be here tonight to pay tribute to Jack Powers and hear so much of the fascinating history that surrounds Stone Soup and its many years. The poem I'm going to read tonight is called Ashes. Stirring the ashes of my story, which refuse to fit back in the urn. Time's pencil, shards of graphite twinkle in the dust. What survives of me hardly matters when the whole world concerns and recycles my precious minerals and salts. That headless torso has so many expressions sweeping across her face. At the tender breast that will never live long enough to know cancer, nestles for 22,000 years in her marble armpit. We savor how books are Hercules, holding the past and future apart in the exact gap of now needed to read them and hold the world up. Books propose a pause we eagerly accept. We like turning away from the metronome that ticks the passage from birth to death. Honoring artifice, which allows us to see the shape of formlessness. Catching from the corner of the eye the trickle of magenta, tracking how violence leaks out the edges. We are the participant observers eating carbon dioxide from the air, fumbling journey from dodgy through tepid to exuberant. We barely see how life seizes us as toys to toss in the air and to roll in the mud. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
I gotta just jump in. Kathleen, my Press 22 Publishing, Kathleen's the first person that I'm going to publish in chapbook form, and the name of the book is I Don't Write Poetry and You Can't Make Me. It's coming together.
Looking forward to that. Moving on, because we have a lot of good people tonight. Let's welcome up Mr. Ken Johnson.
Hey, there we are. Hello. Well, you asked for it. Who's ready to be depressed? People who've been coming here, the regular crew knows I lost my girlfriend at 30 years last June. And well, here's another real depressing one. Then I'll get on with it because we got a lot of people to read here. So where the hell are we? There we are. My uncompleted dreams. I need the comfort of a warm woman, one to share heat in my bed, one to hold my morning head at the rising of the day of my incompleted dreams. Once I bore great hopes and plans, I would stand tall as a meaningful man, while each day passed as one little death of the whom I'd hoped to be. In the glare of awakening in the morning, to trod that path which offers nothing well to rhyme with dreams. And she was a songbird when we met, her fitting my notch like a puzzle piece I had not known I was incomplete. We each lovingly pretending that our aspirations will live on when someday we'll be noticed and immortal. For I believe my words shall live on upon some library shelf. And she, her song too, will echo through time in the ear of a cleft. I learned she too dared hope and plan, to boldly sing life's siren song, while each note passed on to each little death of the whom she'd hoped to be, in the glare of awakening in the morning, to trod that path which offers nothing well to rhyme with dreams. Who too needs the comfort of a warm man, one to share heat in her bed, one to hold her morning head, at the rising of the day of our incompleted dreams. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken. The Ramnator 5000 seems to want me to dip some toes and ask someone who I haven't seen here before, or at least haven't seen for a while, and see if Mr. Ed Potestik would be interested in reading right now.
Of course. Thank you for being so bombastic, enthusiastic, and fantastic. Hello, my name is Ed Potastical, feeling fantastic. Please tell me you can join my rhyme follow sublime. I got one poem, so I won't take too much time. This is called Back of Your Head. Back of your head, is it a migraine or a headache? What is it, for God's sake? Do you feel sick or unwell? Are these ringing a bell? I think you're overthinking. This is why ideas keep shrinking. Maybe your inner struggles, digging larger tunnels. Maybe it's stress. Why not get some rest? Maybe it's pain, but remove those chains. Maybe it's confusion. It's okay to leave it undone. Maybe it's overspending. It's a case of overstepping. Maybe it's too much work, loving until you stop and hurt. Maybe it's an argument. Send flowers, they'll get the hint. Maybe it's allergies. God bless you if you sneeze. Maybe it's a midlife crisis. No, I only jokingly jest. Maybe it's a broken heart. I hope I missed the mark. Whatever it is, it will pass. Drama doesn't overly last. It's only in your head. You're alive. Don't play dead. Thank you. Thank you. Woo!
Thanks so much, Ed. We're gonna do a mirth block now and continue on with someone who doesn't look mirthful, but I know his work generally says otherwise. You knew who I was talking about. You know I was talking about him. Let's welcome up Doodle Sponge Cake, aka good Lord, aka Robert. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Would I be able to use the share screen?
Oh yeah, give me 1 second. Robert
Thank you.
Fleming. He has so many nicknames. I actually lose track of his real name from time to time.
Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming, a visual poet from Lewis, Delaware, and I'm pleased to share my publication this week with Four Feathers Press and give a shout out to one of my colleagues who I published with there, Jackie Chow. There's two reasons why I published with Four Feathers Press. The first, it's a monthly magazine which allows you to publish up to 3. So each year you could publish 36 works with them. So it really helps me encourage me to create new material. The other is it's a California publication, which is very liberal, and it allows me to publish works which are very have taboo subjects. I live in Delaware, where the art scene is very traditional, where they wouldn't publish that type of material. So I'm going to share my current publication for historic landmarks. This is a restaurant in Southern California called the Giant Artichoke. Has anybody been there? No, it's in Southern California. If you're there, I definitely would recommend it. And the biggest challenge for creating this this art piece was that I did find several copies of the menu, and I did cut out individual items in the menu, but the lighting was very dark. And even though I made the lighting of the menu items lighter, it still was pretty dark. So instead, I wrote the menu items as text items in a graphic software called Canva, and then gave the yellow background. This piece is called Eat the Choke. The second one is the location is the San Andreas, California fault. This is called the San Andreas, California Pizza Fault. When I read the description of what the fault is, it said it was like two pizza slices going over each other where the toppings were falling off onto the other slice. So that is why I chose to do pizza over the fault. The challenge for this piece was to select the right size of the pizza so that the viewer, when they looked at the image, they would be sure to be able to see the fault. I initially started with pizza slices that were too big and then selected smaller ones. This is my third piece. It is called Norman and Marion's California Pacific Coast Highway Date. It is a tribute to the movie Psycho, which was released in 1960. And the biggest challenge for this piece was to find a car that was used in the movie, which was the Ford Fairlane, mostly in the back direction. I'd say 98% of graphic images of cars online are in the front or the side direction. So I was able to find a car which was sort of in the back and then move it around. And the second thing which was a challenge was if you see to the right side of the car is the image of the backage image of a woman's hair, which is actually Norman Bates dressed as his mother, is to make just a little bit of the steering wheel visible. So those were my three publications for the Four Feathers Press. The other two activities which I have is that one of my poems will be included in a celebration of Walt Whitman's 205 years since his birth. And next month for Gay Pride, my local GLBT group, Rehoboth, Camp Rehoboth, will be having an art show, and one of my art pieces will be included in the art show. So greetings from Delaware, and it's always a joy anytime I can do a graphic arts piece tributing the movie I love, Psycho.
Thank you so much, Robert. Apologies to anyone who can see me. I am eating a dinner, but it is kind of in the spirit of Stone Soup because it is the cheapest and quickest of meals, Velveeta macaroni and cheese. And there is a connection to Stone Soup in that during the memorial reading for Jack Powers that happened in August of 2000. No, sorry, October 2010. One of the stories came out, I think, from Raphael de Gratola, of a time when he went to Jack's home and Jack prepared his signature spaghetti dinner, which is basically a spaghetti and anything else he could put together. The poet in question, the guest in question, was vegetarian. And Jack was putting out pre-Velveeta as we know it cheese, or pre as we know it Velveeta cheese, and the Velveeta was in a white can with big can with a white label. And he then proceeded to read off every ingredient from the Velveeta and was able to conclude that this was vegan safe because there was no milk or cheese in it whatsoever. Which, now that I think about it, makes me wonder what the fuck I'm eating right now. But it's quick food, keeps me going. I didn't want to miss a second of this open mic, and we're going to bring up the next poet. I'm glad to have her on our open mic with us, since she featured a while back for National Poetry Month. Let's welcome up Marianne Honecker.
Oh, I'll just read one since there's so many people here. This is The Undead Get a Bad Rap. Often I think I am dying. My head knows better, but my body has an instinct. Once people thought the seat of the soul was the heart or even the liver. I think it's directly between the lungs, not more on one side or the other. I try to will my soul up and out of my body as I lie supine in bed, pinned to the pillow by exhaustion. Like a vampire, I sleep through the day. I sleep through the night, too. Being undead isn't sexy. I think the soul is under the sternum. Pain is seated there. I'm dizzy, so I don't shift my head on the pillow. I can lay flat or on either side, but I must stay in that position after I assume it. If I could lift my soul out from under my sternum, would it still be in pain? Or does pain only happen in a body? Dizzy can mean crazy, scatterbrained, silly. When I say to my doctors, I'm dizzy, this is the sense of the word they hear. If I could lift my soul up, I'd fly to the ocean, hover over the sand. I would watch the waves curl and break. The ocean is not here a metaphor for eternity. But could I see? I have left my eyes behind and my ears, which I'd use to listen to the water bustle over the simmering sand. My mom thinks this house is haunted. Late at night, a shadow passes by the entryway to the living room where she watches TV. Maybe the ghost is me and I've finally done it, but I don't realize I'm free of my body, so I just hover around the house as usual. My body bloats with unused calories. I have an urge to say, ah, as my forehead fills with air. I drag myself through the house, falling into furniture, falling into walls. In the Netflix Dracula series, people can die, be buried, and rot, but still be conscious. Corpses can reach out to you, although they have no muscle on their bones, see out of empty sockets. I'm tied to the body like that. My body is past being useful, but I'm still inside it, trying to live. That's all.
Thanks so much, Mary. Up next, let's welcome up one of our longstanding Stone Soup veteran participants. Let's welcome Miss Jan Rowe. There you go.
Oh, hi. I just have something very brief. It's called Boeing. Boeing jet disasters includes the flight with Ralph Nader's great niece. How to improve Boeing's safety? Have the Boeing executives jet in first class or regular, wherever, rather than their own little private jets. So 3 long-term Boeing workers testify. 1 or 2 are dead during deposition. Boeing's executives, get out of your private jets. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Don't
Thank
tell
you,
Jan to
Jan.
shut up. Never.
Thank you, and thanks to Richard Spizak, who has to get off. We'll miss you, sir. And the open mic has to go on. So we're welcoming up next poet, venue host of the recently happening controversial open mic that took place this past Monday. It will be taking place on again, I believe, on June 3rd. Let's welcome up Mr. Jeff Taylor.
Hey, thanks, Chad. Yeah, we had March Penn was our feature for this past Monday. We had a really good time in Malden. Yeah, but you're right, June 3rd is the next one, and still looking for a feature for June 3rd. So if anybody make it to Malden, they want a feature, just reach out and find me on Facebook, Jeff Taylor, and we can talk about that. So I just wrote a new poem today, and I'm going to read that one. Tentatively, it's called Eating Razors with Tomorrow. I'm not good at small talk. So in an attempt to improve myself, I've spent the last 999 hours having short, meaningless conversations with myself. I practice saying, "Did you watch the game last night?" But I never actually remembered to watch the game, what with all the practicing. Instead, I end up saying things like, every morning at 9 a.m., my pen cuts into the skin under my rib and pulls out my brain. Eventually, a bird soars into the hole in my chest. The constant fluttering like a drunken barn dance becomes the burning anxiety of glass houses in a rock fight as I eat razors and spit them out in the dreams of my laughing fist. The person I'm talking to inevitably looks at me like I should have watched the game. Thanks.
And up next, we bring you Mr. Bill Lewis. There you go.
Are you really gonna let that guy come on your show? Chad. So if you would be so polite, so kind, so generous, so genial as to give me sharing position.
You should already have it.
You what? I didn't even add yet. Just so here is my ode to the frog. My class, my students, we just proved that Fritz is a frog, and I am going to brag about this fact incredibly. Here are the facts that we know: that Bill is green, Bill croaks, and Bill eats caviar, whereas Fritz is green and eats flies, and Teddy eats mice also. And we have 2 rules. To be a frog, you will be a frog if you are green and croak and eat flies, and you're not a toad and you're a toad if you're green and croak and eat flies and you eat mice also, because I saw that in a National Geographic, toads eating mice. So that is my definition. And I then unified the database with Frog Fritz, and we proved beyond any of a doubt that frog is indeed true for Fritz. Fritz is a frog. I am so proud of my students. These are high school kids who were doing the stuff that I didn't do until I was in graduate school. Go Fritz, go Fritz. Anyway, I'm just bragging for a moment. I have a good life. I will tell you. I mean, when you come right down to it, what makes my life so good? These little minions, I tell you. Thank you for the class, Mr. Lewis. Yes, thanks for the lesson. I love my kids. They make me happy. I love to teach. I feel I'm snappy. They think I'm silly. Oh, I'm so excited. Each day is an adventure and I can't hide it. I float in dreams of their successes, of their brilliance, of their lessons. I leave the world a better place than when I found it. That's the case. With these kids as leaders of the future, the world will be fine. Of that, I am certain. There it is, an ode to the future. Kids are doing great things. We have such wonderful kids. We have some bums too, but let's focus on the kids who are making the world a beautiful place. Yay, next generation. We're going to die soon. We're old farts. Go, young kids.
Thank you so much, Bill. Let's see, who do we? Oh. Oh, wait 1 second.
You're muted, Chad.
I know there was some music came on and I don't know where it came from, of all things. It's like I must have clicked something from a DM. Okay, we are moving on now, and I'd like to see if trying to see if he's still here. Oh yes. And I'm hoping I'm lucky enough after his fine feature back in 2023 if Paul Skiff would like to read for our open mic tonight. Oh, declining?
No,
Okay.
sure.
Oh,
Sure.
okay, good.
I
Excellent.
was trying to signal yes. Thanks. It's good to be here. Again, looking forward to hearing CC at length. I'm just going to do a couple of short things. Does the fly floating in my cup of coffee now experience death more manic for being embalmed in caffeine? Was the fly more alert or clear-minded when heat melted its eyes? As I sit in the park near the dog run, there is no need to guess about the fly's last meal, gorged on fresh, moist, succulent turd dropped by a miniature $1,000 hybrid hound who will only eat warm duck confit and is half the size of a purse. Perhaps that is where the hapless, fatalistic fly acquired a taste for my cappuccino from pedigree doo-doo. Better not stare too close at or evaluate what may appear to be random fate. The consequences of an aspirational lifestyle can spread absurd demise in mundane, brutal opera of micro-tragedy whose minuscule plot twists kill with vast unknowability, barren of human sentiment as how economy disconnects money from your hand. And the next short piece, another sort of slice of an indolent night. It is 7:30 at night. I am lying on my mattress. 3 streets away, cop sirens go down. One straight, full, one falling, one whooping. The cops have their hands on their guns, check their vests. In the building across the alley, a woman is laughing coldly. Upstairs, someone wearing high heels is mad and stomping, stabbing the floor with those heels. My TV has no picture anymore. It is on in the next room, and something about a famous playwright is on. Famous people's voices keep coming on and talking about this famous playwright. Out in the alley, someone has lighted the trash stacked up against the building on fire. It is a fire meaningless without conflict. I am remembering riding an elevator in a hotel on Hollywood Boulevard with Billy Idol. He was carrying his dry cleaning. He had a black eye. I remember in the restaurant in that hotel, a bagel cost $10. The left side of my face has hurt all day, and I think it is because of the growing hole in the tip of my eye tooth. That's all that's going on tonight, if you are asking, except I laugh some because the next room does not hide the TV picture from the TV that doesn't work. The window does not tell me the reason for ridicule, desperation, or meanness. The ceiling provides no explanation for the anger of those high heels stomping the floor above, and I am not sure it is the tooth that hurts my face. Like, I don't know who punched Billy in the eye. That is why all the nonsense tonight is somehow as laughable as a hole in a $10 bagel. That is why tonight is like a hole in a $10 bagel. Even if that bagel was all there, I couldn't take it serious. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. And up next, another Pastone Sue feature. Always working on stuff, always keeping busy. Let's welcome Mary Jennings.
Thank you, Chad. Glad to be back here. And I know since it's been a while, and I've completed this one since I'm going to read from the Love Child Ballads, and this one is called Ballad of You Bring It Upon Yourself. Gut issues, the need to be right, the urge to be brute, the desire to have someone else bear the brunt, be bad, be had. Flesh and spirit, boys and girls, roles from birth, expected to live the story thrust upon them or else fester and die all too soon. The bright light is impervious to those who savor to say, you bring it upon yourself. No life buoy for you to keep you from sinking. All because you took a different path and was robbed on the way. They upfroze and not letting trouble touch them, and that's all the information you are entitled to. You will never know what they are hiding or what they are hiding from. Yet you have outlasted the fate designated, if not afloat, then safely ashore. It was never their place to sentence you. The naysayers, the doomsdayers who hate being wrong, yet wake up to a new day every day. Judgment and control, their only reason for being, but not yours. For them, living for love leads to shame and degradation. Never mind that they hoard all the world's resources for themselves. Perceptions of virtue die a hard death. Virtue, they say, is its own reward to avoid having to pay you a substantial living. Let the machine you helped keep well-oiled and cranking rust in the sand and get buried. The grace they tried to deny you is back in your grasp. Gut instinct is yours, as well as a new set of tools and information. Cast off your impressive-looking trappings finally and set sail again before they know you're already gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And up next, the stylings of Mr. John Wezek.
Thank you, Chad. So I'm going to share the screen. Here we go. Okay. Of the 1 in 3 Americans who own firearms, I'm probably the only one who goes to open mics. So here is some stuff that I want you to know. First, the news gives a very inaccurate picture of what's going on. They lie by omission. I Googled firearm deaths, and Pew statistics say that there are between 100 and 700 mass shooting deaths per year. That was 2021. If you look at the middle, it's about the same as the 270 Americans who get struck by lightning each year. For comparison, the flu killed about 36,000 a year. COVID killed 52,000 a year in 2023. And if you're interested in banning assault weapons, you should know that rifles account for only 3% of firearm deaths here. Now, back in 2016, the election after Obama, the phrase on Facebook was, see, nobody wants to take your guns. Somewhere around 2022, it changed the term Act Blue and stuff like that, saying, hell yeah, we're coming for your guns. Well, what happened? This billionaire Michael Bloomberg happened. These are the contributions to gun control groups based by year. These are actually 2 years, and you'll see that around 2020 it skyrocketed. That's because Michael Bloomberg donated a lot of money. Everytown USA is his gun control group. Well, was it really because the problem got so bad, or is it propaganda? So what I did here is I plotted the number of firearm deaths versus gun control contributions, and you see it is kind of rising, but again, this 2020 thing is way out of hand. So that means to me that the propaganda is increasing more than the problem. Okay, a couple things. Really, I'm a gun owner because I'm kind of scared of some of this right-wing violence, okay? So who will protect you? First of all, there are a lot of people say that, oh, all the studies show that you can't use a firearm to defend yourself. Well, this is one paper by Gary Keck that actually found quite a lot of people using firearms to defend themselves. And he goes through the reasons why these might be unreported. There are two Supreme Court cases say that the police have no duty to protect you. Also, a lot of cops are kind of right wing. Here's a Boston cop was caught bragging about running over Black Lives Matter protesters in 2020 online. The Anti-Defamation League identified 373 law enforcement personnel on the Oath Keepers website. The Oath Keepers are the right wing guys who took part in the January 6th. The guy with the eye patch and stuff like that. That's the Oath Keepers. This guy back, Cliven Bundy, if you remember back in 2014, he was the guy that was grazing his cattle on federal land, and the feds came to impound his cattle, but a bunch of right-wingers pointed guns at the feds, and the feds left. If a black person or you or me pointed guns at the feds, we'd be dead, but if you're a right-winger with a cowboy hat, you get a free pass. His son, Ammon Bundy, took the Mauler National Wildlife Refuge in 2016 to protest, and they were armed, and nothing happened to them. Also, there's this increase in fascism, really. CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee, they held a meeting in Hungary. They have Viktor Orban as their leader, a right winger whose big thing is, the great replacement theory. It's this racist theory that, undesirables are replacing white people. So it's not a good sign. Okay. Now, a lot of you live in Massachusetts. And first of all, Massachusetts has the strictest gun laws in the country. You have an assault weapon ban. You have a 10-round magazine limit. You have a red flag law. You have to give a license to own firearms in Massachusetts. I've been through the process. You get fingerprinted, you get interviewed at the police station. You have to store guns in a safe at home. But there are a bunch of gotcha laws in there too. There's this 60-day move rule. If you move in Massachusetts, you have to send a certified letter to the police chief where you left, to the police chief where you went to, or else your right to have a firearm is gone. There's another gotcha law, say, hey, when you're driving with your firearms, you have to transport them locked in your car's trunk. It sounds like a great idea, right? But a lot of people have SUVs that don't have trunks. The other thing I'd like to say is there's this red flag law. I believe this is probably counterproductive. Why? Because most firearm deaths are from suicide, more than 50%. And if you're a gun owner who needs help, are you going to be less likely to seek help if it's going to bring the cops to your door? I think so. Now, the legislator is adding even more rules just because they can. I belong to this group called the Liberal Gun Club. They tried to talk to the legislators, and the legislators weren't interested in hearing from them. So let me just stop sharing here. Boom. Okay, so I have a book, A Liberal at the Shooting Range. Chapbook. I will send to you for free. Put your address in the chat or send me an email and I'll send you a copy for your very own so you get a different perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Up next, I thought I saw one new face, but they might have left. Oh, yeah, no, Dave Henry. Dave, if you'd be interested in reading, I'd love to have you up.
Hello? Am I on?
You're on.
Okay. All right. This will be a good introduction to the kind of stuff I write. This is from my last book, Every Star Sends a Love Light Beam. It was the balsam firs that diffused mild, mind-altering molecules into the high-altitude air. Mountain minerals collected by tree roots, converted into fragrant microdroplets of essential oil, dispersed by needle foliage of alpine forest. Rock self of summit, self-expressing, communicating through the mediator trees, who perform perfume translation, smelled heavenly, embedded messages into nostrils. Elevated mind to an unaccustomed height. Hours later, still feeling long-lasting effects, vividly recalling the aroma of peak speak, wafting verbosely with the sense of smell, rushing through nose to brain, intently smelling every word, raised by the mountain story as told by the scent of trees. Did that happen?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And up next, I'd like to bring up Mr. Mark Lipman, who's been waiting so patiently.
Hey, Chad. Wonderful. Tell you what, I think you might know that I've been without an arm for the last couple of months. I've only just got it back, and I'm gonna give you something different tonight because I've finally been able to play the guitar again. So I want to share something different with you. And I wrote this some many years ago. Can you see me? There you go. I wrote this many years ago, but I forgot the chords, and I was trying to find it back, and I was able to make better chords, and it really sounds good now. So I want you to hear this. Gonna fight the system to the end. May wind up without a friend. May never get the Mercedes Benz, but I never want that anyway. But they all built to see. So I'm exactly where I wanna be. My food grows right on the trees. Who needs more than that? If they ever brought me up to a China place, replace my cup, I might stick around for the sub, but they're not gonna control my mind. Oh, now I'm back for the misunderstood, but my life, I'm doing good. May just be an out-of-work Robin Hood, but at least I'm a free man. Thank you.
I hope that came across.
I appreciate that, Mark. And that's not the last musical interlude of the night. We're gonna finish. We're gonna getting close to finishing up the open mic, and we're gonna go now with Mr. Ethan Meckler. Thank you, Ethan. And with that, our final participant for the open mic tonight, before we get to our man of the hour, the man with the power. Let's go now to Mr. James Van Loy.
Thanks, Chad. So I've got, we were talking about Beacon Hill, and so that reminded me of this very short piece by John Wieners, who lived up there for years and years. It's called 2 Years Later. The hollow eyes of shock remained, electric sockets burnt out in the skull. The beauty of men never disappears, but drives a blue car through the stars. John Wiener. And this is a poem called "The Sun Has Not Set," and it's for my mother, so it's basically it's a Mother's Day poem for Adeline Carter Van Loy. The sun has not set. The great blue bulb sky and its frosted peaks, this earthen mother ball has simply turned beneath this constant light and sinking into her own, oh yes, very own shadow, wrapped herself in her very own night. The sun is not set. The still, dusky last breath, just a few degrees from your last breath, and the still probe form that rises beneath the breasts that cannot hold this much come, this much gone, ever that violent, violet horizon awry that I have made so recent and often where you have always been, and now will never be again, and will always be. The sun has not set. Ah, such a short turn away across the hills to the highlands, over two great lakes and the flat land. Why can we never stay? Why do we always wander? Where is there really to go? Only a little less than a time zone away. The sun has not set, and the dusty dusk, violent violets spread out on the roofs, the last fevered blush reflected behind as well, bleeding into its own night where the sun has never set. When whippoorwills call and evening is nigh, I hurry to my blue heaven. A little white light, a turn to the right will bring you to my blue heaven. You'll see a smiling face, a fireplace, a cozy room, a little nest that's nestled where the roses bloom. Just a Molly and me. Little baby makes three. We're happy in our blue heaven, happy in our blue heaven. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. James Van Loy. Check out his weekly column at Oddball Magazine at oddballmagazine.com. His poem column is a weekly thing every Thursday in the morning at 11 a.m. It's called It's All One Thing. The new one is already set to go. Speaking of set to go, time to read the bio from Mr. Arshagra, and then he should be ready to perform. It's got poetry, music, history, everything that we like in a snowsuit performance during May. Recognized as one of the most dedicated followers of the open microphone circuit, C.C. Arshagra won a Boston Award for participating in the most open microphones in 2000. He is the author of Emotional Geography, Poems, Sacred, Death of an Ego, What Manner of Character, and now, most recently, The Open Microphone, Human Rights, Free Speech, and the Word. In addition, he writes song lyrics, a veteran producer of the Snowsuit Poets weekly CCTV shows, feature poet at SSP Anniversary Show, including Year 45, with his poetry art band Funk Physics, with legendary guest musicians Blake Newman and Ken Field performing live to improvised music, Core Funk's physics bandmates Derek Bosey and Matt Bellevue. History includes working with jazz artists Jeff Robinson Trio, JR3's Poetry Jam, Ken Field's Board of Education, and Michael Caglioni's Zen Bastards. His live improvisations include the 4-CD series, the Id Inkless Dialogue Poems, Spoken Mind and Poetry. This work exists in sound form only. He also has produced many radio and video shows for broadcast, including Snowsuit Poetry, The Words on SCTV Somerville, The I Do Not Know Show, The Divide and Conquer News Report, and Dear Dead People with Uncle Cece. His paradigm art project, The Human Room Open Voice, THROV Life, aims to bring into tuition the internet's first global participant-owned free speech platform. Podcasts and production include The Word Show, Worlds of Resolved Economies, plus the experimental film video projects Docu-Dialogue, CC's Arshagra's in Conversation With, and Naked Vulnerable and Being are just some of his film video works in progress. Arshagra walks the walk, speaks soul to soul, and is humbled by life as an artist. His canvas of creativity is expansive, and his favorite mantra is love is not afraid. And I am going to cut it there because we want to hear him read. We want to hear him perform. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together 40 to 60 times for what's about to come and give it up for Mr. C.C. Arshagra.
I'm going to start with this. It was written last night for tonight. The dying words of a poet. And so the exhale of life transpires. And what is gone, lived with no guarantee, except perhaps the everlasting gratitude, the leave that was lived and let go. Just as each letter became a word and the source was uncontrived, invisible wonder, hopeless as passion bleeding out from an open vein, only to spill hope as completely unexpected joy. A death wish that only dreamed of being born true. The sight and silent sound heard alone in the moment of its creation. By no one. And that was everything one could ever ask for. The only form of satisfaction ever to experience feeling satisfied. Living within time's transcend. Not a trace of nothing being wasted. Not even the air was expecting anything in return. If another breath comes this way to form a word, the impossibility of another miracle as this one may be possible. Yes, these are possibly the dying words of a poet. And thank you for that introduction. I just can't say enough about the role that Jack Powers has played in a myriad of lives. And then all of the publishing and the blogs and the film and the video projects that are all hoping to come into existence. I want to give a special thanks to Derek Bossy and Matt Beliveau for being part of my Funk Physics. And this is the very beginning of my lyrics ending up in print form, transcribed as music to be handed to a musician that hopefully someday will become songs that singer-songwriters do. It's all part of a project that goes way back and is called Raw as When a Poet Sings. I'm going to do one more new one that I also wrote last night for tonight. This one is, I am sorry to be the one to say. I'm sorry to be the one to say I am not. Sure, this may land inside an eyeball, eardrum, or both, and there equate to nothing more than a reason to think less. Still, may I give a moment its due and be done with the need to be entertaining. My death are these dying moments I am living. I am my every opportunity to fail. Be bathed in the height of this falling achievement with just a possibility that I will earn even a glimpse of myself, who I am. And if you see any soul trace revealing itself, will you keep it as if food and I your feed? That will be useless without the compassion of what listens here at the end of feeling heard, as if witnessing God die and not be a tear is born. Shit is as visible as piss, but this is not as easy as making sense of love. Sure, there's the stink of love taken. Survival's ignorance does that. There is the rotting of laughter wasted on hello harm, a sad comedy that doesn't even know it's not funny. Say how your minds receive and give, and be right and wrong at once. Risk the question inside the idea of a truth is. This could be a gift, is given, into humility loved. It would be sorry to say you are not. Possibly my first time I've ever played back to back to back to back to back songs, and that's going to be my feature, and I hope you appreciate this. This is I Think I Will Not Die Today. I think I will not die today. Oh, I just may melt away into a dream that's here to say, love, stay, and I'll stay with you. I think I will not die today. Although I just might cry today, and yes, my tears may fall to see love freed from all the harmful thoughts I made. I think I will not die today. Then doubt itself throws choice my way, yet it's as simple as you being here, and no one can ever own love. Oh no, I think I will not die today. As I go through no love with just my face on a stage, as bare as no one's here, where there's no reason left to leave my life. Oh, I think I will not die today. I had no idea joy could feel this way, no idea alone could fill the air, while every exhale gives voice to there is no one missing. I think I will not die today. And fear exposed just runs away, and nothing lonely fills my heart, and all I hear is laughter. Lift life up. I think I will not die today. Although I just may melt away into a dream that's here to say, love, stay, and I'll stay with you. This is mirrors watering my mind. Mirrors watering my mind. wash me through the end of time. Be the air my mind rests in, and bring me to where peace begins. Rain on flames that burn my trees, my branching thoughts of dreamings breeze with waves of natural calm, ideas that bloom and die through all lies real. Then fear comes pushing love away. The want of hatreds reach for prey, and that's a vengeance that leads to how pain will feel, yet there's no resolve in the predator's feed. Mirrors watering my mind, wash me through the end of time. Be the air my mind rests in, and bring me to where peace begins. The time it takes to lose both hands, graves wait years to understand, as moments run away from tears, while before chases after the same old fears. Now love, oh, love's a word that survival hates. Oh, love lives way beyond all death can't fix. There's no need of fixing nothing empty or all alone. And to forsake life's a gift you waste, you all go home. Mirrors watering my mind, wash me through the end of time. Be the air my mind rests in, and bring me to where peace begins. Forever hums. Life is only death, but not forever. Rivers only waters, not dry bones. You see, love is only everything is a miracle. And you and I, the song, forever hum. Noon is only midnight as the world dreams. Time is only clocks, not broken yet And a knife is just a tool, and a useful kind one, that no one ever needs to harm true love with. And a man is just a womb without a gravestone. And a child only tears that wait to laugh. And aging just a series of soul lessons. As if all moments equal one lifespan. While hunger is the price of dreams become form. And thirst reminds the oceans they're not sky. And eyes and ears are always learning to feel. Further than you see why you are here. While the ground of love is only all the sky knows, where sight becomes how beauty can let the blind see, where visions lift the heart up and rest in peace there, where you can catch your last breath and walk your soul home. See, life is only death, but not forever. And rivers only water, not dry bones. You see, love is only everything, is a miracle. And you and I, the song, forever hum. So a few months back, I think it was December, I finally heard the speech that Bob Dylan gave when he got the Nobel Peace Prize for Literature. And then I guess he did a talk. So I finally heard that recording, and he mentioned the classics and the great philosophers and passages. And inside this conversation, he said the words, "You are running out of men." Now, I've been working with and communicating with a little bit, a lot of this music stuff over at the New Eurekan, and there was this veteran poet there, C.P. Mays, and I called him up and said, should I write this song, and tested it out on him, because he's a pretty amazing guy that knows both sides of a machine gun and a pen. So, and this is what came out of it. You are running out of men. When privilege is a coward, floating on a wealthy sea, made of nothing more than numbers, and the blood of fears believed. Here fear has only one friend, then fear owns you, eats you, and then kindly kills its mother. Oh, fear is a story, afraid of dying, so it lives just to make sure no one ever becomes love. If there's no one fighting, fear will start one. Fear is never satisfied unless there's more wars coming. So every war is run just to morph into the next one. And every parent in a fight must hand hatred to their young. You are running out of men. You are running out of men. You don't love life, women, girls, or mothers, and the earth, you forsake her just to fucking rape her. You are running out of men. You are running out of men. When privilege is a coward, floating on a wealthy sea, made of nothing more than numbers, and the blood of fears believed. You are running out of men. You are running out of men. Calm down. Here and now is when and where I observe my own mind. Here and now is when and where and when I observe my own mind. Here and now is when and where I observe my own mind. and I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I care for the sight of love is blind. My heart takes a rest and I sigh. And Shakespeare is the name of my dog. And I'm grateful I feel home here and now. Even when I'm not seen, even when I'm not heard, even when I am alone inside the wind. As I share my alone with my peace of mind. As I catch my wild thoughts with a choice to calm them down. While the wars all around me are surviving just to die, still I feel grateful. I feel home here and now. Here and now is when and where I observe my own mind. Here and now is when and where and when I observe my own mind. Here and now is when and where I observe my own mind. And I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. Then everything true hits a wall. And everything large discovers it's small. And everything out there is only within. Then here comes fear's reasons to never trust love as one. That's here and now, and when and where I observe my own mind. That's here and now, and when and where and when I observe my own mind. That's here and now, is when and where and I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I calm. Calm down. And I'm going to finish with this one here. It's called The Parenting of Life. I believe in the parenting of life. And no one owns a woman. No one owns a child's love. And I believe this is the highest art form. And the abuse of innocence is the highest crime. And I believe the only way to rise is to always fall true and never be above you. And I believe forgiveness is a mirror. You need no fist, word, or hammer to break reasons into blame. And I believe belief must not fear dying. And you should never fear to ask a naked, honest question. And I believe that being wrong is a blessing. When you still don't know the answer, the law of love is one. I believe in the parenting of life. And no one owns a woman. No one owns a child's love. No one owns a child's love. No one owns a child's love. Thank you, each and every poet and poets, and thank you, and Stone Soup, Jack Powers, and Chad for keeping it going all these years. Happy 53rd.
Give it up through visuals, emoticons, actual sound from Mr. C.C. Arshagra.
And go ahead and unmute yourselves.
That's
Hey,
what I was
that was
getting
great,
at.
CC.
Thanks,
I love your
Cece.
piano playing. It goes great with your poems. Perfectly.
Awesome.
Great to
Yeah,
hear all
getting
of
some
those in
serious
the
Nick Cave vibes there, CC. So it's always
great
Serious.
to hear all of those together in one sitting.
It's a first. That's a first. I think I've done two in a row live. There's a 3 times I went to an open mic around here with a grand piano, and I did two. But that's the very first time. So I figured this is the place to do it. This is it all started when I walked into TT the Bears one day. Seriously. That's when the really writing started. But, thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Cece.
Thank you, Mary.
Well done, CC.
Thank you, sir. I'll be looking forward to listening to this again tomorrow. Recapping and of course posting and sharing it with everyone else. And if you guys want to share the YouTube video tomorrow, or just post it to your page, or share my public post to your page, or however you want to do it, I'd be very appreciative of that.
And
with
Shakespeare
that,
really is the name of the dog. It's Kathleen's dog, but Shakespeare was that's a real statement.
very nice. And we are
No, I did not bring my piano. I didn't play. I played guitar way back, Ken. I'm on a tablet, so I can't comment and stuff. But yeah, Ken, no, I didn't play piano back then. I tried guitar, but it wasn't until an acoustic piano came into my life that I realized that the soundboard and the strings and the harp inside this wood and this ivory, without that, I couldn't feel it the same way. And I really didn't start writing lyrics and then comfortably. I mean, I could do the guitar, but it wasn't the same as the piano when the piano became physical. So good question. Thank you. And I loved working with Ethan over the years. Ethan's bass is me, and we've done live improvs here, the history of this little recording thing. So thank you. If you want to save the chat, Shakespeare, it's Shakes, never the formal version. Yeah, Shakespeare as well. It's all everyone calls Shake. And she's there sleeping right now. She likes to listen to me practice. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks to everyone for coming tonight, and I bid you adieu. We'll give the biggest wave we've given in a while. This is a great open mic. I appreciate everyone's contributions. Be back next week. We have another friend of Stone Soup coming back, Elizabeth Duran, who's featured multiple times. You can see several of her clips over the last few years on my page and elsewhere. And she's going to do an amazing performance then. And we have many more to come. And I promise more new faces coming to this place. And I hope you guys stick around for it. For those of you who are here for the first time or first time in a while, check out the Stone Soup Facebook page. I'll be announcing calls for publication around the internet sphere and giving out news of other local features as we get them. And there's plenty more coming. It's going to be a very busy summer, as it always is. And hopefully we'll be making announcements for the Boston Poetry Marathon coming up, hopefully in August. Wish
Is
you
there
guys
a
the best.
piano there?
I think there is. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, get back to me on that. I like to challenge myself, especially because then when you're a poet and you play piano, like there used to be a lot of musicians that would show up, but I would say maybe 2 or 3 or 1 out of every 30 would be like somebody from Passim's coming down to see if their words stood up to poets rather than folk singers against folk singers all the time over at Club Passim's. You know what I thought of today? Bobby Land. Whatever happened to Bobby Land? Does anybody remember Bobby Land?
I do, yes.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite people. He was so funny.
He was unique as shit. He was dry too. You know, he had to stay away. He did his old duels on stage, and so he couldn't really go to too many. It wasn't his thing to go to the comedy opens mics, but he was brilliant. He was very hard to get poets to make you laugh, but he did little one-liners. He was brilliant. I miss him. I thought of him today, and it's like, wow, I haven't thought of Bobby Land in a long time. And thank you, Ken Fields and Michael Caglione and of course Jeff Robinson for the years that I worked with their jazz work, especially Ken Field, who used to have the Board of Education every single Thursday. He had the corner of the Middle East. For those of you that are local, you know the Middle East corner. And he set up on stage on Thursday from 11 until 1. And he brought like 6 musicians and he stuffed them in the little window. And he stood on the ground. And we just do an hour long in the round with the band. He would go from musician and give them leads. And it was called the Board of Education. And I used to drive horse and carriage. So when I got out, I would grab my camera and drag it all with me. And if I got out in time, I would show up at 11 and I'd sit down in a chair. And he did this with no other poet. And he was a godsend in my life, just like I couldn't go through this without mentioning David Doc Cody, David and Fran. Anyway, so I would write for an hour and they would take a break. And when they come back on at 12 after a 10-minute break, he would do his whole band behind me and I would kick what I just wrote. And that's what led me to working with the Zen Bastards. And then Adam O took that spot. I did the first 4. And from what was it, Neon Grandma. And now Kemp is recording down in the Carolinas. He's on the move. I miss Kemp Harris. Kemp was the first one I ever went into a recording studio with. He played body slap while I played guitar and did a thing called, it was a political song. It's Freedom of Speech, it was called. First time in a recording studio. So that's a little back history of music. And of course, my parents were music, vocal, and clarinet and sax. But thank you all.
Thank you, guys. One more wave. Have a good night. This is for the screenshot for the morning. Take care. It could be like this every week. All we need is you and maybe a penny piano. We'll see. Take care and enjoy yourselves and have a good evening. Take care of yourselves. Take care of someone else. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.